First story. My daughter falsely accused her step-uncle of Sa to become popular at her school. Instead of talking it out, my entitled ex and his family cut my daughter, abandoned her, and reported it to the school. Now my daughter is being bullied, so I demanded that my ex and his family apologize to her and reconcile. They refused, so I sent her to a boarding school because I also have a life to live. Now I'm regretting it. Hi Reddit. This is hard to write because I know how bad this situation sounds from the outside. But I'm not here to sugarcoat or excuse what my daughter did. I just want to give the full picture and maybe get some advice. My daughter is 15. Let's call her Lily. Some quick context. I, Jen, 37F, share custody of Lily with my ex-husband Chris, 40M. We divorced 6 years ago, mostly because I cheated. That's a chapter of my life I'll regret forever, but I owned it. The person I hurt most wasn't Chris, it was Lily. She stopped talking to me for months after she found out. I was the parent who broke her sense of stability and trust. I begged for her forgiveness back then. I had to earn it back. It took years. I bring this up only to say that I know what it's like to be the one who messed up, and to have to apologize to your child to help them heal. Chris is remarried now to Erica, 35F. Erica has a son, Ethan, 14M, and they all live together. So yes, blended family, work in progress situation. I'll be honest, I don't have much of a relationship with Erica or her sister Nicole, 30F. That's Chris's new family. I've stayed in my lane. The incident happened a few weeks ago after a small family gathering at Nicole's house. It was for her birthday and also to introduce her 6-month-old baby to the family. Only close relatives were there: Nicole, her husband Marcus, 35M, Erica, Chris, the kids, and Nicole's parents. Everything seemed fine that day. But a few days later, Ethan told Nicole that Lily had been bragging to her friends that she saw Marcus's junk during the party. That he walked in on her in the bathroom, or some version of that story. It was a lie. A gross, dumb lie. I'm not defending it. But it wasn't a calculated smear campaign. It wasn't part of some plan. When confronted, Lily broke down in tears and admitted it immediately. She said her girlfriends had been teasing her for being inexperienced, no dating history, nothing to talk about, and she wanted to look like she had stories too. She made something up, not thinking it would go beyond a small circle of girls she was trying to fit in with. She never expected it to reach Ethan or the adults. Nicole exploded. Called her a disgusting piece of SHT to her face. Said Lily risked destroying a man's life over a stupid social boost. Erica said she didn't feel safe with Lily around Ethan and made Chris send her back to my place permanently. Nicole's parents cut Lily off too. That side of the family has shut her out entirely. At school, Ethan apparently told people the real story, and now Lily's become the liar girl. Her friends dropped her. She's being whispered about, mocked, and treated like something dirty. The same group she lied to impress now thinks she's unstable and dangerous. She's shutting down emotionally. Not talking to me. Not eating at lunch. Her grades are tanking. Her coping mechanism is just going completely quiet and numb. She doesn't defend herself. She doesn't cry in front of me. It's like she's disappeared inside her own body. Last week, I walked into her room and found her just sitting on bed in her pajamas, staring at the carpet. I sat next to her and told her that what she did was wrong. That people got hurt. But I also told her I understand what it's like to screw up and to have everyone make that your whole identity. I asked her if she wanted to apologize to Nicole, Marcus, Erica, and even Ethan, and she nodded. She said, "But what's the point? They already hate me." That broke me. I've spoken to Chris. He's deeply hurt, torn between Lily and his current family. I know he's trying to keep the peace, but he's not really fighting for her. When Erica made it clear she never wanted Lily back in the house, he just went along with it. I know part of him is scared Lily will say something again. But I know my daughter. She told a reckless lie once. She's not a creep. She would never do anything to hurt Ethan. I know it in my bones. Here's where I think I might be the arsehole. I'm demanding that we all sit down, me, Chris, Nicole, Erica, Marcus, maybe even Ethan if he's up for it, and not just give Lily a chance to apologize, but also for each of us, as adults, to apologize to her. For the way we reacted. For abandoning her. Because here's what I've realized. Lily knows she screwed up. She owned it. But the punishment hasn't been about teaching her. It's been about making sure she never forgets who she is now. And that's not right. I've replayed the day everything blew up over and over. Not to rewrite it, but to understand why the reaction went where it did. I wasn't there when Lily was confronted. I heard about it after. Chris called me late that night and said Lily was sent home like she'd been suspended from her own family. He sounded exhausted. Not angry, not defensive, just worn down. He kept repeating that things moved fast and that Nicole was terrified and protecting her family. I get that instinct. I have it too. But fear doesn't erase what happened next. Within 48 hours, my daughter lost her home, her routine, half her extended family, and her reputation at school. The school part matters more than people want to admit. Ethan told the truth, and that's fine. I'm not blaming a 14-year-old for repeating what he heard once adults were already involved. But he could have handled it with a little more maturity. What really stuck was that Lily lied about something sexual involving an adult man. That kind of label doesn't fade quietly. Now she's the girl people warn others about. Teachers look at her differently. Kids whisper. Former friends treat her like she's radioactive. She doesn't argue. She doesn't try to explain. She shrugs when I ask how her day was. When kids cope by shutting down, adults tend to miss it because it's quiet. There's no acting out. No visible mess, just absence. Nicole says she'll never forget what happened, and I believe her. But Lily won't forget either. The difference is that one of them has a fully formed support system, and the other is still trying to figure out who she's allowed to be after this. I tried talking to Erica first. I thought mother to mother might soften things. It didn't. She told me her priority was Ethan, and that Lily can't be trusted. She said letting Lily back into the house would make her anxious every day. That sentence keeps echoing in my head because I realize something. Lily's presence was framed as a threat, not a mistake. I asked Erica if she believed Lily actually saw Marcus's private parts. She said no. I asked if she thought Marcus did anything inappropriate. She said absolutely not. I asked if Lily confessed on her own when questioned. Yes. I asked if she believed Lily was capable of harming Ethan. She hesitated, then said she couldn't be sure. That hesitation was the end of the conversation. Chris is stuck in the middle, and I don't envy him. He loves his daughter. I know that. But he also lives with the people who want to erase her from the picture. When I told him Lily wanted to apologize, he said Nicole wasn't ready. When I said Lily was struggling, he said everyone was. When I asked him what the long-term plan was, he went quiet. That silence told me everything. I'll say this plainly. I do not expect Nicole or Marcus to forgive Lily. Forgiveness is personal. What I do expect is recognition that the response went too far and landed on a kid who already understands she screwed up. I've been on the other side of this. When I cheated, Lily was younger, but old enough to know what it meant. She asked me questions I didn't have clean answers for. She stopped talking to me. She refused to come to my house for weeks. I sat in that discomfort without demanding grace. And when she eventually spoke to me again, it wasn't because I defended myself. It was because I apologized. Repeatedly. Specifically. Without conditions. That's why I'm pushing for a sit-down. Not to debate facts. Not to downplay what Lily said. But to give her the chance to apologize directly, and to hear adults acknowledge that cutting her off completely caused harm. Kids can hold two truths at once if we help them. I did something wrong, and I'm still worthy of being treated like a human being. Nicole doesn't want that. She told Chris she doesn't want Lily near her family, period. That includes holidays, birthdays, future gatherings. It's a permanent line, not a pause. My concern isn't that Lily doesn't get invited to parties. It's that she's learning that one bad decision is enough to exile you forever. I also need to address something that keeps coming up. The idea that Lily might do this to Ethan. I reject that completely. Not in a blind, naive way. In a grounded, lived with this kid for 15 years way. She lied to impress friends. She did not accuse her stepfather of assault. She did not go to an authority figure. She did not persist when questioned. Conflating that lie with predatory intent is unfair and lazy. There's also history people don't see. Lily never felt fully at home in that house. She was polite, careful, and always trying to fit in without taking up space. Erica and Nicole are close. Lily noticed. She joked about it with me once, saying it felt like visiting someone else's family. She tried to be easier to accept. Quieter. This doesn't excuse anything, but it explains the pressure she feels to be interesting somewhere else. I'm asking the adults to own their part. Nicole for the words she used. Erica for deciding Lily was disposable. Chris for choosing peace over parenting when it mattered most. Even Marcus, not because he did something wrong, but because silence from adults carries weight. A simple acknowledgement that Lily's lie scared people, but didn't define her would go a long way. Lily told me last night she doesn't want to be that kid anymore. She asked if she should change schools. She asked if people ever forget things like this. She asked me if I thought she was a bad person. When your child asks you that, you stop caring about being liked. So yes, I'm pushing. I'm demanding a conversation. I'm refusing to accept that the only outcome is lifelong punishment for a teenage mistake. I'm doing this knowing people will say I'm minimizing what happened. I'm not. I'm weighing it against the damage being done now. I don't think protecting children means sacrificing one to make others feel safe. So here I am, asking strangers instead of yelling into a void. Aita for believing that while my daughter was wrong, the adults involved also owe her an apology, and that isolating a 15-year-old completely is doing more harm than good. Comments. Comment 1. Lily lied about something that could have changed Marcus's life forever. It doesn't matter if she didn't file a report, it's a serious thing to say. And even whispers can ruin a man's name. Teen boys get labeled predators for less, and no one runs to offer them hugs and redemption arcs. If your daughter were a son, would you be writing this post or sitting in a police station? Erica has a son to think about. She's not obligated to risk her kid's safety or comfort, just because you believe your daughter won't do it again. Your own decisions wrecked your marriage, fair enough. You own that. But stop acting like every person should be as forgiving as your teenager was. Not everyone heals the same. They didn't scream at Lily, and they didn't publicly shame her. They just said, "We're done." That's not cruelty. That's a boundary. And you demanding that everyone apologize to her, the one who caused the damage, is wild. Support her, guide her, but don't push her into places where people don't feel safe with her. That's not helping her grow. It's forcing your idea of redemption onto people who don't owe her anything anymore. Comment 2. Chris failed here. This isn't about taking sides. It's about standing up for a teenager you helped bring into this world. When Erica decided Lily had to go, Chris should have said, "We work through this, or we're not blending anything." But instead, he folded. Lily's dad chose silence over discomfort, and it's sad because she probably noticed. Kids always notice who flinches when it's time to defend them. Nicole had every right to be furious, but she used her anger like a wrecking ball, calling a 15-year-old disgusting to her face. That's not protecting your family, that's dehumanizing a kid to make sure you come out spotless. What happened to recognizing the difference between a kid who lies and a kid who's dangerous? Those aren't the same. Lily told a lie rooted in shame and inexperience, not malice. Everyone around her is acting like she tried to start a fire when she was just playing with matches. You're right to want that. Sit down. She needs to apologize. Yes, but she also needs to hear that she's not ruined. That's the part the adults missed completely. Comment 3. 15 is old enough to understand the consequences of implying sexual exposure. This wasn't a toddler repeating nonsense. They're in high school. She lied. It spread. And the adults around Marcus had to take it seriously because the stakes were too damn high. The fact that you want people to apologize to her after she burned them says everything. You're projecting your own baggage onto this. You want redemption because you got it. But not everyone has the capacity to forgive something that big. You say you had to apologize to Lily after cheating. Good. That's growth. But don't confuse her situation with yours. You didn't nearly destroy someone's reputation to make a friend. She did. People pulled back to protect themselves and their kids. You see exile. They see a line that had to be drawn. Lily can heal without dragging people to a forced reunion. Maybe start by helping her take accountability without conditions. This whole, everyone owes her a piece of their healing approach just sounds like manipulation disguised as repair. Comment 4. Nicole sounds like the kind of person who needs everything to be black and white so she can sleep at night. Lily f'd up, no debate. But this wasn't a campaign to ruin someone's life. She told a dumb lie to look cool in front of other teens, something half of us did when we were 15. Nicole reacting like Marcus almost ended up in prison because of it is theatrical at best. No one called the cops. No one made a report. This didn't blow up because of Lily, it blew up because Nicole needed a target to dump her fear on. What blows my mind is how everyone went along with it. Erica should have pushed back. Chris should have said, "Wait, this is my kid too." But nope, they all bailed. Your daughter's getting punished way beyond what she did, and worse, they're shaping her identity around it. That kind of exile at that age can F someone up for years. A real adult conversation needs to happen, but I doubt Nicole's capable of one unless she's the center of the hurt. Everyone's scared of their own shadows here, while your kid's the only one trying to grow the hell up. Update. I didn't expect to post again, but too much happened in a short window, and I need outside judgment, even if I don't like the answers. After my original post, I tried to focus on Lily. She barely speaks unless spoken to. She goes to school, comes home, shuts herself in her room, scrolls, and sleeps. No social life. No hobbies anymore. A few of her friends' parents reached out to me directly and asked me to stop contacting their daughters. One mother told me Lily's presence was unsettling for her kid now. I didn't argue with them, but I did tell them they were contributing to a pile on against a teenager who already took responsibility. That ended those conversations. I decided something had to happen, instead of everyone waiting for time to magically fix this. The first thing I did was contact the grandparents. I invited them over under the excuse of dropping off some old photo albums I'd found while cleaning. I thought seeing Lily in person might change something. She sat quietly, answered politely, and didn't bring up the situation. They stayed less than an hour. On the way out, her grandmother hugged her, said she hoped Lily was learning from all this, and told me it was best to give everyone space. Space again. I realized in that moment they were never coming back into her life unless someone else gave permission. After that, I emailed Nicole, Erica, Marcus, and Chris. One message. No insults. I laid out the timeline, what Lily admitted to, and the current fallout. I said Lily was ready to apologize directly and owned what she did. I also said the way things ended caused damage that adults need to acknowledge. I asked for a sit-down with a mediator or counselor. I didn't get a single reply. Not even a no. Chris eventually called me privately. He said Erica was done discussing it, and Nicole refused any contact. He said the situation was unsalvageable, and I needed to help Lily accept it. That's when I said the sentence everyone's focused on now. I told him if staying married meant permanently cutting his daughter out of half her family, then maybe he needed to rethink his marriage. I didn't say it lightly. I said it as someone watching a parent choose peace over responsibility. He went quiet for a long time, and then told me I had no right to comment on his marriage after what I did to ours. That hurt, but I didn't take it back. The school situation blew up next. Lily's counselor asked to meet after reports of ongoing bullying. During that meeting, it became clear Ethan had been openly talking about the situation well beyond setting the record straight. Kids were repeating word for word adult phrases. Lily was labeled a liar and a creep. Meanwhile, Ethan was being treated like the brave truth teller. I asked why a student spreading private family issues across the school faced zero intervention. I was told they couldn't discipline him for sharing his experience. That pushed me over the edge. I said that if Lily was being socially punished daily, then Ethan deserved consequences too since he amplified it. Word got back to Erica that I'd said her son should be punished. She called me furious and accused me of attacking her child to distract from my own. I told her Ethan isn't a victim in this story. He told everyone. Now he's uncomfortable that there are after effects. She hung up on me. A few days later, I showed up at Nicole's house. I know how that looks. I went during the afternoon, not late, not aggressively. Marcus answered. I told him I just wanted Lily to apologize in person and clear the air. Lily stayed in the car the whole time, refusing to come up. Marcus said nothing good would come from reopening it and asked me to leave. I left, but Nicole emailed Chris later, calling it harassment, and said if I showed up again, she'd involve the police. I tried a different approach after that. I reached out to Marcus's workplace. Not to accuse him of anything or cause trouble. I asked to speak to HR to clarify that rumors involving him were false and resolved. I honestly believed it would help. Instead, Marcus called Chris livid, saying I nearly jeopardized his job. I hadn't thought of it that way. I thought preemptively addressing gossip would protect him. That attempt turned into another nail in the coffin. Around this time, Lily's old friend's parents emailed me again, asking me to stop involving their kids in adult drama. One parent said Lily made her daughter anxious just by texting her. Lily saw that message when it popped up on my phone. She didn't cry. She just said, "It's fine. I get it now," and went back to her room. Desperate, I suggested something symbolic. I offered to pay for family counseling sessions or even compensate Marcus and Nicole for the stress. Not as hush money. As a gesture saying Lily's lie had consequences, and I was willing to shoulder them too. Chris told me that was inappropriate and made everything look transactional. Erica called it insulting. Lily asked me to stop trying to buy her back into existence. I also took Lily to a church youth group where the pastor offered her a chance to speak. She read an apology she wrote herself. She didn't mention names. She talked about insecurity, lying, and how fast things can collapse. I recorded it because she wanted to remember getting through it. I later sent the clip to Chris, thinking it showed sincerity. Erica saw it and accused me of putting Lily on display for sympathy. That ended any remaining dialogue. The last straw with the school came when I requested another meeting and asked why no one had addressed Ethan's role in spreading it. The counselor ended the meeting early. A day later, Erica filed a complaint saying I targeted her son and interfered with school staff. I received a formal notice asking me to communicate only through administration. At this point, nearly everyone in that family has blocked me. Chris barely texts. The grandparents won't respond. Nicole wants nothing to do with me. Erica wants Lily erased from their lives permanently. I started seeing someone new a few months ago. And yes, I lent on his perspective. He works in social services and told me isolation after public shame at this age can have long-term effects. When I shared that opinion with Chris, he accused me of outsourcing blame to justify my behavior. Maybe I did. I wanted someone to confirm I wasn't losing my grip on reality. Lily told me last night she doesn't want me contacting any of them anymore. She said every attempt makes things worse, and she just wants it to stop. She also said she doesn't feel like part of any family now, and she doesn't expect that to change. I still believe the adults involved failed her after she admitted her lie. I still believe cutting a child off completely helps no one. But I'm also being told from all directions that my actions turned a bad situation into something radioactive. So here I am again. Was I wrong for continuing to push when everyone else wanted silence, even if it meant burning every bridge left? Comments. Comment 1. You dragged this entire thing through the mud because you couldn't accept being told no. Lily made one massive mistake and paid the price socially, emotionally, and within the family. But instead of letting her sit with the consequences, process it in therapy, and slowly rebuild trust with those who are willing, you went full PR crisis mode. You made it about optics. You called Marcus's job. Seriously. No amount of spin is going to unring the bell of what she said. Every time someone took a step back, you took it as a challenge to force re-entry. That's not parenting, it's reputation damage control dressed up as motherly love. Chris had every right to draw the line when you told him to divorce his wife. Erica's protecting her kid. Marcus probably hasn't slept properly in weeks, wondering if this crap will hit his professional world again. You're still running plays from your own guilt file, and all it's doing is isolating Lily even more. She told you to stop. That should have been the only voice that mattered. Comment 2. Erica's reaction was extreme, sure, but it didn't come out of nowhere. You said yourself Lily never really fit in at that house. That tension existed before this lie. What Lily did gave them an exit, and they took it. Cold. Yeah. But this was never going to be a cozy blended family. What's wild is how you saw all those doors close and thought, if I just push harder, they'll open. Showing up uninvited, calling workplaces, pushing kids into moral theater, it's suffocating. People didn't fail Lily after her confession. They stopped engaging because they didn't trust her anymore. And every stunt since has reinforced their decision. I don't think you're evil. I think you're drowning in regret over how your own family broke apart. And you're trying to rewrite Lily's story before it hardens. But you've taken the wheel from someone who already told you she's done. She's asked for silence. Let that be the apology she gets. You need to accept that some people forgive quietly, and some just walk away. You can't manage grief like a project plan. Comment 3. It's one thing to defend your kid. Every decent parent does that. But what you did wasn't defense, it was a campaign to rewrite reality. Everyone already knew Lily lied. She confessed. People responded. Some harshly, yes. But you didn't stop at helping her process it. You decided everyone else had to bend too, to validate your version of healing. You dragged this out of the family and into school politics, church events, workplace HR, and private inboxes. You didn't ask for forgiveness, you demanded it like it was overdue rent. And when people said no, you circled back with another angle. Your daughter was ready to apologize. You should have let her. Quietly. Privately. Instead, you packaged her remorse like a product launch. I don't think you realize how much damage that kind of pressure can do to someone already trying to disappear from her own mistake. She's tired. She told you to stop. What comes next is on you now, not the people who already left. Update. It's been over a year since I posted. I wish I could say time helped. It didn't. I made things worse. I know that now. The damage feels permanent, and I can't even blame anyone else this time. After everything with Chris's family blew up, I filed for a custody modification. I wanted Lily out of that environment. Chris didn't fight back hard. Maybe part of him agreed it was easier if I took the weight of everything. So I got primary custody. For the first time in years, I thought Lily and I would finally get to rebuild, uninterrupted. But she didn't bounce back. I transferred her to a new school, but she was withdrawn, barely eating, and always tired. Her friend group never came back. Her name had followed her farther than I thought. Her new teachers said she was polite but disengaged. She refused therapy and refused activities. I didn't know how to reach her anymore. The boyfriend I had in my head was nothing like the man he turned out to be. In the beginning, he talked about how well he understood teenagers. He said most parents panic too soon. He kept insisting Lily just needed time. He made me feel sane for wanting to stand up for her, even if I didn't always handle it the right way. So when he suggested we move in together, I said yes. The first sign something was off came slowly. He was distant around Lily. Not rude, just cold. He'd never engage unless I was present. Wouldn't say goodnight. Would leave the room if she walked in. Once I caught him walking into the kitchen, pausing when he saw her, pulling out his phone, and holding it chest level while speaking casually, like he was making a habit of documenting their interactions. I asked him why. He said he was protecting himself, just in case. At first, I thought maybe he was being overly cautious because of what happened with Marcus. But the way he said it felt rehearsed. Clinical. Lily picked up on it. She started keeping her distance, locking her door, and refusing to be alone in the house when I wasn't there. One night, she waited outside on the curb for 2 hours because I was stuck in traffic. She didn't say it directly, but I knew it had to do with him. Still, I defended him. I told myself he was just nervous. That once trust was built, things would change. Instead, we got worse. I started grounding Lily more often. Not for major things, missing chores, snapping at him, skipping dinner, but enough to keep her in check. He said consistency mattered. We needed to teach her consequences. I started believing that maybe she was acting out. Maybe she needed more structure. Maybe I'd been too soft with her for too long. I even got her a dog, thinking it might cheer her up. Named it after someone from Chris's side of the family as a way to reclaim the narrative. When she realized what I did, she stopped feeding it. Ignored it. Once, I found her pulling its collar so tightly it yelped. That night, I returned the dog to the shelter and told her I didn't blame her. She didn't say a word. Eventually, her therapist recommended something longer term, a therapeutic school with boarding. The idea crushed me, but my boyfriend pushed for it. Said Lily needed to be in a place where professionals could actually deal with her. Said we weren't equipped. Said if we waited too long, she'd end up arrested or worse. I didn't agree, but I didn't argue either. I was tired. I was in love. I was ashamed of how far we'd fallen. And part of me wanted someone else to fix her. Lily begged me not to send her. Told me she didn't trust anyone. Told me he made her uncomfortable. I said it wasn't forever. That it was temporary. That she could come back. I signed the papers anyway. She stopped speaking to me after that. A few days later, I asked my boyfriend X now why he never connected with her. Why he always looked afraid around her. That's when the mask dropped. He said, "Why wouldn't I be careful? She already lied once and almost ruined a man's life. You think I'm going to risk that? Go to jail for what? Because she had a mood." I asked him if he ever believed she could change. He shrugged. Kids like that don't change. They learn how to hide it better. He never saw her as a person. Just a problem. I ended it that night. Packed his things. Told him not to come back. He barely flinched. Just said, "You're going to regret not protecting yourself the way I did." He was right about one thing. I didn't protect her. Not from others. Not from me. She's still at the school. She barely speaks to the staff. She ignores my letters and returns unopened care packages. The last time I spoke to her therapist, she said Lily has no interest in coming home. That she's counting down until she turns 18. Chris hasn't spoken to me since I won custody. I think he knows I pushed her too far. I cut off everyone who questioned my decisions, and now there's no one left to help. I don't know why I made the choices I did. I don't know what I was trying to fix. I thought I was being strong. I thought I was reclaiming something that was taken from us. But all I did was chase redemption through people who were never going to give it. Now she's gone. Maybe not physically, but emotionally, I don't think I'll get her back. Not fully. She turns 18 in 7 months. I don't know if she'll come home, ever. And I don't know what to do with myself if she doesn't. Comments. Comment 1. The second you got a new DCK in your life, your kid became inconvenient. It's that simple, and no amount of pretty wording changes it. You went from fighting the world for my daughter to grounding her, ignoring her fear, siding with a grown man recording himself around a teenager, and shipping her off so you could keep a relationship intact. How the hell does that flip happen if your priorities were ever really about her? She told you she was uncomfortable. she showed you by waiting outside instead of staying in her own home. And you decided that love for you mattered more than safety for her. That's not strength. That's cowardice wrapped in self-pity. You didn't protect her from anyone. You taught her that adults choose themselves when things get hard. And now you're shocked she stopped talking. Of course she did. Every time she spoke, it cost her more. You didn't lose her because of the lie she told years ago. You lost her because when it counted, you picked peace with a boyfriend over loyalty to your kid. Own that. Comment 2. He told you from the beginning. The phone recordings, the physical distance, the deflection when asked why he never saw Lily as a person. He saw risk. And instead of listening to the teenager who said she didn't feel safe, you listened to the adult man who wanted proof she wouldn't ruin his life. Lily was a scapegoat in your relationship, a buffer between your fear of being alone and your need to feel redeemed. You gave your daughter a dog as some warped symbolism, then watched her act out in a way that should have sent alarms ringing. Instead, you kept pushing discipline and external solutions. There's a reason she doesn't talk. She learned her voice doesn't change outcomes. Every plea, every "I'm not okay," was met with consequences or lectures. The only power she had left was to go quiet. Now she's counting months, maybe days, until she can leave. You keep asking what went wrong. Everything that happened after the confession was your choice. Every time you backed someone else instead of her, you handed her a reason to walk. When she does, don't act surprised. She already told you without saying a word. Comment 3. Wild how long you went screaming about protecting your daughter, only to turn around and ditch her the moment someone told you she was too much. All that fighting, all that noise, and then boom, boyfriend says jump, and you ask how high. You punished her more once he moved in. You second-guessed her instincts. You ignored obvious warning signs and let a man treat her like a walking accusation. He was recording himself around a minor, and your response was, what, patience? Optimism? That alone should have ended the relationship on the spot. Instead, you doubled down, grounded her, labeled her the problem, and then dumped her in a therapeutic school she begged not to go to. You wanted her quiet and out of sight so you could pretend things were fixed. And now that the relationship is over and the house is empty, suddenly regret shows up. Too late. She learned exactly where she ranked. Don't be surprised if she turns 18 and vanishes without a goodbye. You trained her to survive without relying on you. Comment 4. Chris backed off, and Erica built walls, but the person Lily needed to believe in her was you. She lied, yes, but she also confessed, owned it, and tried to come back from it. Instead of protecting her, you took that moment and built an entire redemption campaign around it for yourself. Every attempt at repair had your name written all over it. You needed the family to forgive her so they'd forgive you too. When that didn't work, you chased peace through people who saw her as a risk, not a daughter. That boyfriend made it clear he didn't want to be in a room alone with her. And instead of seeing that as a red flag, you accepted it as logic. You let his paranoia dictate how you parented. Boarding school became the answer because you ran out of patience and partners who'd stay. Now she's gone quiet, and for the first time, no one else is left to blame. No teachers, no ex-husband, no other woman. Just you and the echo of every time she asked you to stop and wasn't heard. She'll leave quietly. That's the only thing she still has control over. Second story. My Sil is a cheating narcissist who neglects her daughter and abuses my brother. Should I still invite her to Christmas? For context, I 27F and my sister-in-law 32F. I'll call her Sarah, do not get along. We were very close at one point. But 2 years ago, my brother and she got into a very heated argument that escalated, and I told her she was wrong when she asked for my opinion. She threatened me after that, and I have not spoken to her since. She has since moved back to her hometown, and I look after her daughter 11F as she goes to a private school in my city. I'm hosting a Christmas dinner this year, and everyone except Sarah was invited initially. My brother later told me that she's alone for the holidays. The thing to note about Sarah is that she is very narcissistic. She will only be nice to you if you agree with her all of the time and take her side, even when she's wrong. She will gaslight you even if you have evidence. She essentially has no friends because of this, and her family no longer speaks to her. I felt bad given our past relationship, and said she could come as long as she agrees to be civil at all times. Recently, however, her daughter had a Christmas party. I bought her a cute and appropriate outfit that suits her style of choice, and she was very excited to wear it. Sarah called her and asked to see what she would be wearing before instantly becoming upset when she saw the outfit. She told her she couldn't wear it. Her daughter insisted it's what she wanted to wear. And when Sarah realized her daughter wasn't going to listen, she stated, "If you want to look like a grandma and go to your party, fine," and then quickly hung up on her daughter. I was upset because instead of being understanding of her daughter's opinions, she chose to insult her and hang up on her. It also showed me that in the past years, Sarah is still the same. I no longer want her to come to the dinner. My mum has stated that it would be a jerk move. Would I be the arsehole to rescind my invitation? Comments. Commenter 1. Mum is right. It wouldn't be good to rescind based upon the conversation she had with her own daughter. You would be the arsehole. That being said, if you called the mum and had a conversation about her making the daughter feel bad about her outfit, and that conversation turned ugly and the mum got belligerent, you could use that as a reason to uninvite her. OP, thanks for responding. Your approach does seem more reasonable. I may just try that first. Commenter 2. Ask the daughter how she feels about her mum coming. OP, after her disagreement with her mum, she doesn't want to be around her right now. But I know she'll want her around for the holidays themselves. OP clarifies the relationship with her Sil, and what the issue was that caused OP and Sil to stop speaking with each other. OP, this is my brother's wife. Their argument was about her staying in contact with her affair partner. She wanted me to take her side, but I told her what she was doing was wrong if she wanted to save her marriage. She threatened me that I would never see her daughter again, and that she better not ever see me by chance, insinuating she would hurt me, I suppose. Commenter 3. So does your niece live with you? Or do you watch her when your brother is at work? Or what? I would just tell your brother and let him deal with it. She's going to be a problem. No doubt about it. OP, she lives with me right now. My brother works overseas. Sad to say this, but my brother is a bit of a doormat. He tends to take his wife's side to appease her over his daughter's side. Commenter 4. So you raise your niece. Neither your brother nor her mum has custody. How often do they see her? OP, they have custody of their daughter. I look after her because I live closest to the private school she attends. Her mum moved back to her hometown because she opened a business there, and her dad works in another country. Commenter 5. She threatened me that I would never see her daughter again, and that she better not ever see me by chance, insinuating she would hurt me, I suppose. From an OP comment. That puts a different spin on things. I would probably tell your niece that it is her decision whether her mum comes to Christmas. If she wants to include her, you'll be civil and polite as long as she conducts herself accordingly. But if at any time your niece wants her to leave, all she has to do is tell you. That is a lot to put on an 11-year-old. But it also gives her a choice. OP, honestly, I think you're right. I'll have to reach out to her mum first and set some boundaries regarding the dinner and talk with my niece after. Thanks for your comment. OP on, if her brother is actually divorcing his wife, since Sil moved back to her hometown. OP, no, they are still together. And it doesn't seem like they'll be getting a divorce anytime soon. I'm not sure if she still talks to the app. My brother is the one who wanted me to invite her to the dinner. She would have stayed with my grandmother. I'm sure she just threatened me out of anger. She tends to do that and hopes everyone moves on from the harsh things she says without ever apologizing for it. Will OP's niece go live with her mother full time if Sil decides to come and pull her daughter from the private school? OP, thank you for your response. Thankfully, my niece's parents have an agreement that she should graduate before she goes back to live with her mum full time. No, the daughter is with me because I live closest to the private school she is attending. The mother lives about 3 hours away from the school. The parents have an agreement that she will not be pulled out of school by either of them. Update. I hope I am updating correctly. After reading everyone's comments, I made the decision to simply talk to Sarah. I called her last night. I didn't mention anything about the conversation she had with her daughter and instead kept the call focused on the dinner and my expectations. I told her that I understand we hadn't talked in about 2 years, but I wanted to clear the air if we were going to be around each other for the holidays. I explained that I was hoping to have an uneventful holiday surrounded by the people closest to me. I even said I would be happy to have her over because it would make her daughter very happy. Guys, I do not know where communication got twisted, but she got so upset. I am also very proud of myself for having recorded the phone call, so she can't twist my words or anything like that. She went on a full rant, saying she did so much for me and my family, and that we should have been understanding of her talking about her affair here lol. Mind you, she's the one that dragged us into her drama back then because she was hoping we would have her back support her affair. We tend to stay out of their marriage drama unless it concerns their daughter. Anyway, she uninvited herself. She said she was offended I would call her and make her feel like a bad person for bringing up the past. I mentioned nothing about the affair lol. She said she didn't want to be around us anyway. That my brother was the one who wanted her there, which is a lie since he had sent me a screenshot of her asking to be invited. Because I didn't believe him when he said she wanted to be with us for the holiday. I didn't mention this to her and just said, "Okay, take care," before hanging up. That is the end of my little saga. Thank you to everyone who commented yesterday. I'm glad I took this approach because if I had simply uninvited her, I would have been second-guessing myself the entire time, wondering if she had changed at all. A little naive thinking, but I'm okay with this outcome. Have a happy and safe holiday, everyone. Thank you for watching the video. If you are interested in listening to these kinds of stories, we've got more in store for you. Simply subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share it with your friends.